Come on, Bob.
Hi,
Hi. I'm curious, you said on your podcast that you would push Bubba before Ty. I'm curious if there were any conversations at Gibbs after you said that, and any change in your opinion or...
No change in my opinion, certainly. I've kind of stated from the very beginning that the 11 car always comes first. I'd never compromise any of my on-track position for the race team I own. Certainly it's important to be a good leader for the team that I own. It's also important to be a good teammate. Therefore, I'm going to work with both of them equally. But right now, if I had to choose, they're side by side coming the line at the 0.1 chance that happens, then obviously, I'd probably lean to the 23 side.
Have you spoken any sort of negativity from Ty?
I haven't spoke to Ty, but I don't typically during the week. But I mean, it's just a unique situation that hasn't been an issue until now.
Last week you talked about your contract. Christopher Bill said earlier he doesn't see any way possible that you're not in the car next year with as a teammate to him, and he enjoys and likes your leadership over there. What does that say to you, and can you address any changes that have happened in the past 7 days?
Nothing's changed in the last 7 days. I appreciate Christopher saying that. I definitely like being his teammate as well. He's certainly came into his own. He's a guy that's going to fought for a championship last year and will for the next 15 years. So I've said from the beginning I like where I'm at. I like all the relationships that we've formed over the last 18 years, and hopefully those remain the same.
There's been some rumors around the sport, mostly unconfirmed, about potentially charters coming for sale next season. Obviously, you built the 23XI shop to accommodate up to a 4-car team. If something comes up for sale in the off-season, is 23XI interested?
We're always looking at options. Is it at the forefront of our attention right now? No, it's not. It's an honest answer on that. But we're always open to different opportunities and different possibilities. It just we're getting down to crunch time here in the playoffs, so it's not. It can't take up much of my time right now.
So tomorrow, Kurt's got a press conference. I'm sure you know what it's about, but without telling us that, can you talk about him and his journey at this point?
Well, he's a great racer. One of the great talents of our sport, and he's accomplished a ton. And we were proud to have him joining the 23XI family a couple of years ago, and still continuing to be that now. So I certainly love Kurt, love his leadership.
What's going to be the difference between showing up in the championship four and hoisting the cup at the end of the race?
Circumstances, qualifying, preparation, speed, all those things are going to play a factor in whether you win it or not. It's a lot different. I'm kind of looking at the golf playoff now on TV, and it's they have a distinct advantage through the entire weekend through what they've earned in the regular season. I was trying to explain that all gets erased with one caution. You can't put us half a track ahead. It's just not the way it works, right? And then because that deficit gets erased instantly. So it's just a unique sport that sometimes you can put out your best effort, and the things out of your control that your competition does plays a factor in your result, which is just a unique part of our sport that we've got. So I just want a chance if we get to Phoenix. I want that opportunity to perform at a high level, and I feel like I'm more prepared now than I was last year and the year before that. So really, just feel like our team's clicking really, really good right now. And I think the tracks that we're about to go to certainly suit my style.
When it comes to Darlington, what do you think about that?
I love Darlington. I love the Southern 500. It's one of my favorite races of the year. I just think that it's a big one. To have a major as part of the playoffs is big, and to have won it a few times, but it's a grinding race. It's certainly the most physically demanding race that I believe that we go to all year long. There's not one more that's more mentally and physically taxing than Darlington.
You've said that 23XI is still trying to figure out its manufacturing lines and things like that. Are you worried that will become a distraction to you during the playoffs?
Am I worried about it being a distraction? No. I mean, it's been a distraction for the last 2 months, but look at our results. So, I mean, we've been through this before, Jeff. You know that the crazier shit gets, the better off we go. But I'm going to do my best to make sure that by 7 days from now, it's a non-story, and we can start to focus on what we're doing in the future and what it's going to take to win a championship.
When it comes to the evolution of this playoff format, you've kind of seen every iteration of it, and you've been a part of every one of them. How is your feelings towards the way the sport's evolved and this format's evolved? How do you kind of weigh the randomness of it, but also how it challenges you guys to be at your best every week?
Yeah, it's the fine line that we run between entertainment and pure racing, right? It needs to be an entertainment sport. It's what we're out there doing is entertaining an audience, and the format in which we crown a champion has changed over the years due to influence of wanting, trying to create these exciting moments. I think we've had them. I think that there's sometimes things just come naturally that are very exciting, but certainly that the format that it is creates, very important cutoff races. It has a very important final race that crowns a champion with 4 guys that, are all technically level when they get there. So it is what it is. We play by the rules that NASCAR puts in front of us, and we do the best we can to achieve the top goal, but so far we haven't done it.
What did you advise Bubba as far as strategy tomorrow? Do you say, hey, run up front? Do you just say run in the back? Or what do you do?
Yeah, I let those guys kind of on his team dictate the strategy in which, whether they want to run up front, do they want to be conservative. You got to let them do what they want to do. I don't want to be an influence on that at all. Certainly track position is more important than ever on super speedways, but the position in which the wrecks start has moved now so far to the front that there is no safe place. So as long as Bubba trusts his instinct, he's going to be fine.
As someone who recently went through buying a charter, starting a team, charters for $5 million, then 10 or 12, then 15. Kozlowski said charters are up to 30 million, even more right now. He valued the 22 charter at somewhere in like 40 plus million. Are you surprised by that? Is this charter, is it work to build a value to the teams, or and how can people afford to get in?
Yeah, I mean, it's the charter system is important. This is why the teams and the RTA have fought so diligently to say how important the charter system is because before, if you lost a sponsor, you go out of business and the team's worth nothing. Now it seems like if you are in trouble or you're in distress, there's at least a lifeline out there for you to cash in on the investment that you put in. So I think it's a good thing, and it's why it's important that the system stays in place for eternity.
Are you surprised they're that high?
No, it's all supply and demand. Really, it's supply and demand, right? And if you still think about it from a sports perspective, it's the easiest way to get into a sports franchise in any sport. So it's still the most economical way, no matter where the price goes.
There's been conversation about legacy motor clubs move from Toyota to Chevrolet and how that possibly might relate to their hierarchy within a given OEM. How do you feel about 23XI's status within the Toyota camp?
I feel happy about it. I feel happy about the relationship we have with Joe Gibbs Racing. I think it makes it very seamless for me actually to have less conflict because I do drive for one, and our team has an alliance with that team, so we can openly transfer information without secretism or anything like that. So I like the product that JGR continues to put out there, and the knowledge that what my team takes from that and builds fast cars. I mean, again, the 23XI cars are the fastest when we unload here. So it's they find a way to take what we learned from JGR and make it better.
How does that differ from Barney Visser's situation?
Man, just so many different factors with the Barney thing. I think he invested quite a bit to kind of do that same thing, but ultimately that relationship just didn't work out in the end. I think that my relationship with Joe over the years has built up to where there's a lot of trust between us, and certainly I believe that we want to continue to stay aligned, at least to some extent, for years to come.
Can a driver who races for one manufacturer own a team logistically that is with another manufacturer? It can't happen.
You said on the podcast this week that someone like Briscoe will win this race, and he just won the pole. What are your reactions to that?
Lucky guess. You know, I just you never know. I just think the Fords in general have been pretty quick on these types of tracks, especially in qualifying. You know, they've got numbers, which is good. But you know, it's the 23's got some good track position there, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we try to win for ourselves, and we can't. We're going to help push Toyota across the line. So we'll see what happens. But certainly, this is the week that somebody out of the blue could certainly surprise.
You've had plenty of success here in February, but not match that success in the summer race. What makes this race in the summer so different or more difficult to win?
I think I've just gotten caught up in so many incidences in this race because typically it has more attrition. The Daytona 500 attrition usually happens at the very end of the race. This race in particular, it's just there's so many crashes throughout the day that just the odds stack against you and you eventually get in it. And our results have been horrendous because we've just been caught up in other people's messes. And so hopefully we flip the odds and have a good day tomorrow.